Welcome everyone to TradeStation and another installment of our Meet the TradeStation Team podcast series. This podcast series is designed to take you inside the heart and soul of TradeStation, to meet the people that are working every day to make your experience with TradeStation the best that it can be. TradeStation is an award-winning direct access broker offering trading in stocks, stock options, and futures, all within one trading platform with low commissions. But you also get the outstanding TradeStation analysis platform with advanced charting, real-time scanning, and powerful option analytics. Our mobile app lets you take your trading on the road. To learn more, I invite you to visit our website at tradestation.com.
The following podcast is for educational purposes only. All of the symbols and trading ideas discussed are for educational purposes and are not recommendations. Active trading is not suitable for everyone. You can find additional disclosures, including options trading risk disclosures, on the TradeStation website. Welcome everybody. This is another edition of our Meet the TradeStation team. I'm your host, Michael Burke, Vice President of Client Trading here at TradeStation, and we're very fortunate today to be joined by TradeStation's own Don Pratl, Director of Trader Development. Don has over 30 years experience in the financial markets and has worked for the CBOE and some of the larger firms in our industry. Don also holds a PhD in organization and management. Don, thanks for taking the time to chat with us today.
Well, thank you, Mike.
So Don, tell us a little more about your background and how you got involved in the markets.
Well, long story, but I'll make it simple. I live in a very interesting city. Chicago was the center of the derivatives marketplace with Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Chicago Board of Trade, and then Chicago Board Options Exchange, all being born here. I was very lucky. My first job at the CBOE was a summer job. I had just graduated from college in 1981 and was actively looking for a teaching position at some suburban or city school district. It seemed to be a soft market for educators at that time, and I had friends because the CBOE was just exploding at that point in time. It was just coming of age in the early 80s, and I had friends that pointed me to the CBOE to look for summer work to, kind of help me along until I got a teaching job. Funny thing is, I never went back looking for those teaching jobs. So I began as a runner, like many other folks, and was trained in the markets by active participants in the markets. Working for my first job was at Merrill Lynch, which was the most busy of the retail firms, and I moved over to the CBOE later in the 80s as a marketing person, and then went back to the floor to be a floor broker as more firms were actually expanding at that point. That continued on until the turn of the century. This century began working for online brokers and off-floor arrangements, and which led me here to TradeStation. So my background in college was not finance or applied math. It was political science, and I had lived in almost any other city in the world. I would probably have been a high school history teacher or government instructor, perhaps even economics. That was the role I had picked out for myself. And the fact that we had this wonderful cottage industry in Chicago with all of the exchanges that needed people that they could train was very fortunate for me. So I was very lucky that with my start in the markets, and I've never been unhappy with that choice.
Well, we're very lucky that path led to TradeStation.
Thank you.
So Don, in your role as Director of Trader Development, your goal is to create curriculum and events around helping our clients become better traders. So how do you approach that? What is your philosophy?
Well, when we consider the educational offerings, I try to keep in mind we're looking to fill a need and provide variety for our customers. All the different skill sets that might be using our trading platform, all the different asset classes that they might be interested in. Lean on our experience in the industry and find educational partners who can fill up those roles for us, all those different pieces. And it's a little bit of a puzzle, roughly 4 days a week, to try to to match together our schedule and our needs with the availability of content experts to come and help us with these presentations. My thinking is once we start with a blank calendar and we begin to try to plug in what our needs are, we need to have a future specialist and options strategist, a stock picker or a tape watcher or all the various profiles of marketplace personalities that we can come up with. And we try to plug them in and promote them. We try to have them find their sweet spot. And we try to bring them in and create content for customers that will help them with things we've identified. Brand new option traders need a certain style. Experienced swing traders or futures traders need a different teaching style. So I think we've been pretty successful at doing that over the past year, and we're looking for even bigger things for the upcoming year.
So Don, based on all your experience, what do you think are the few things new traders should really focus on?
Well, setting realistic goals is an essential part of keeping trading in perspective. If a trader has a small trading account, they should not expect to pull in huge returns. We have to remind them that they have to work with what they have and try to stay sensible. I think some of the best ideas from educational partners is the idea that they need to have a plan, they need to work hard at sticking to their plan, and they need to share that plan with other people, work in community. There's always time to do the study. I think the first thing that happens is that somebody gets the website and all they want to do is, okay, let's set up a chart, take a look at it, press go, let's make a trade right now. That is the recipe for disaster. So we want them to plan, to take their time, to make sure that they have, that they're following a realistic path that will get them to what they need.
I couldn't agree more. Having a background in education as a university professor must give you a slightly different slant into trader education.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. I do approach my day-to-day work like I approach my education practice. I largely work with adult learners at two of the very prestigious universities in the Chicago area, and I work with folks that are, have day jobs that are coming to school at night. They are coming back to school perhaps after they started college as a traditional learner and then went off to do other things and didn't finish. So they're driven. As much as they want me to teach them various principles of the management ideas that my classes involve, they also want relevancy. That's why what we do here, by keeping it relevant to our traders, is really helpful. And I'm really impressed with the learning culture that we have here at TradeStation and the emphasis on the collective role that everybody has in contributing to the education of our customers. Very simply, if we were to start brand new careers, we would most likely need to go study at a university for at least a year or two before we were qualified for a position in our brand new field. So learning how to trade demands at least that same amount of time and factually driven research and study. We have to consider brand new traders or even medium range traders, medium experienced traders. We have to convince them that this is a continuing education process, that they have to remain focused on learning more every single day, since many of the concepts that they might be experiencing carry some prerequisite knowledge, something that they, how does this news cycle affect a certain stock a certain way, for instance, how important that is, and how they have to remember that their understanding of the markets and all the different intricacies is an ongoing, lifelong process. My teaching part-time matches me up with many of our customers that are trading part-time. So I understand the mindset, and I know what they need. I had this epiphany around the 9/11 tragedy when so many of our peers and their survivors, their families, knew that they weren't going to be able to pursue the things in life that fulfilled them. And that's when I began to work on my doctoral to work in universities to help adult learners. And I'm glad that I've reached that niche as a sideline to what I do every day here at TradeStation. I'm dealing with adult learners every single day. On both ends, the adult learners that I deal with at night and the adult traders that I deal with all day are simply trying to pursue the things in life that will make their lives better.
So Don, anything else you want to share with us before we go today?
Yeah, I think for anybody who listens here to our podcast, as far as becoming a trader, in order to be successful, we have to approach trading as either a full-time or a part-time business, not as a hobby. As a hobby, there's no real commitment to learning. Trading can be really expensive. As a job, it can be frustrating since you might not be taking in a regular paycheck from it. You have to remember that trading is a business and it incurs expenses. There are losses, there are taxes to pay. There's a certain amount of uncertainty, stress, and risk. As traders, we're essentially a small business owner, and so I encourage every new trader, medium-range trader, or experienced trader that they do their research, that they strategize to maximize their business potential. I think is a good place for us to end today.
Well, again, I want to thank our guest, Don Pratl, for spending this time with us today. This was great. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Mike. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. And be sure to tune in to more of our TradeStation podcasts. And don't forget to visit our website at TradeStation.com to learn more about our outstanding educational resources and online brokerage services. Have a good day, everybody.